Since the 24th of December 1997, the Jubilee Line has been operated by state-of-the-art 6-car 1996 stock tube-sized trains that replaced the 1983 stock previously in use on the line. Passenger numbers have increased continuously since the line's start on the 1st of May 1979. By 1998, the massive Jubilee Line extension between Green Park and Stratford was constructed, and from the commencement of full operation, passenger numbers have kept increasing. With the continuing growth of Docklands and the East End, the construction of Stratford International Station for Channel Tunnel Rail Link, and with the London Olympics in 2012, demand for the Jubilee Line services is increasing even more. In order to accommodate this substantial rise in demand, London Underground has responded by planning the introduction of longer trains on the Jubilee Line, and it's down to Tube Lines to initiate these changes. The Jubilee Line currently has an operational fleet of 354 vehicles, made up into 59 sets of 6 cars. Of these, 20 cars are fitted with de-icing equipment. By the end of the project, an additional car will be introduced to each existing train, as well as providing 4 new complete trains. This will enable London Underground to operate a higher capacity and more reliable service, and thus respond effectively to the increasing demand. In fact, the additional cars will provide a further 17% carrying capacity. The new cars were built recently by Alstom and assembled at their small plant in Barcelona. The extra car for the current 1996 stock on the Jubilee will be designated a special trailer and will be placed between the existing uncoupling driving motor car and the existing trailer car at the Stratford end of the train. So, when travelling towards Stanmore, the special trailer will be the 5th car and the 3rd car when travelling towards Stratford. All the new cars and the 4 new trains have been built to similar specification to the existing 1996 stock fleet. However, some minor changes have been made to the new cars so that they more closely align with the Rail Vehicle Accessibility Regulations and the Disability Discrimination Act. Such alterations include change of floor covering colour and the addition of yellow strips at entrance/exit doors, the interior passenger information display being changed from red to amber, and minor changes to the passenger emergency alarm handles. Also, some exterior physical enhancements have been made to the new cars. These include a steel frame fitted to the underside of the special trailer. These are filled with concrete to make up for the weight reduction, as there are no batteries or compressor equipment. Passenger alarm and outside door lights will be fitted with LED type lights. Also, some minor changes to the electrical and pneumatic isolation equipment will be made. The changes to defect handling etc. is minimal, but this will be explained in detail to those staff who need to know about this. The train cab simulators at Neasden have been upgraded significantly to represent accurately all the aspects of 7th car operation. The new special trailer cars will have a unique fleet number in the 96600 and 96700 range. The 3rd digit in each case denotes the new cars. Other changes needed for this project involve some alteration to signalling and operational rules, particularly at depots and holding roads. For example, this includes the resighting of some signals, stopping chevrons and diamonds, and changes to depot train movement procedures. Other changes that affect stations include platform edge door operation, platform to train CCTV equipment, and platform ATO communicator loops. Also, some platform end barriers will need to be moved. Again, specific details of these will be communicated to those who need to know. It should be remembered that the rolling stock was originally built and performance engineered with the future aspiration of the provision of a 7th car in mind, as were all the stations along the Jubilee Line extension. The project is not as simple and straightforward as it might seem. The migration process and its timing has been carefully planned and scheduled so that the transition from current to new arrangements is achieved with maximum efficiency, yet with minimum disruption to London Underground and their customers. These changes have many interfaces and therefore much liaison is needed with a diverse range of other organisations. For safety reasons, it is not possible to run 6 and 7 car trains at the same time. Much of the infrastructure for the Jubilee Line will be adjusted prior to December 2005. In spite of this though, there are many changes that simply cannot be carried out while the existing 6-car formation trains are running. The final changes needed will take place during a 5-day passenger closure over the Christmas period between the 26th and the 30th December inclusive. Having said that, the conversion of the trains themselves will commence on the 1st of December. Then, from the 9th of December, the normal working timetable for the Jubilee will be revised to enable more of the fleet to be released for conversion. After that, during the 5-day passenger closure from Boxing Day, enough trains will be converted to 7 cars to provide as near a normal service as possible from New Year's Eve. Finally, Working Timetable 8 will be introduced on the 8th of January 2006 and a tidal flow service will be running from Monday the 9th of January. So, although the closure of the line during the Christmas period will result in a short-term inconvenience to customers, this will be greatly offset by the long-term benefits in the many years ahead through the ability of the Jubilee Line to meet the higher demands of the travelling public. The changes, jointly planned in detail by Tube Lines and London Underground in partnership, will also help to promote the company's vision, mission and purpose to deliver a fast, clean, efficient metro system and an outstanding tube for London. After the completion of preliminary works undertaken while the train service is still operating, the bulk of the work will need to be carried out during the line closure period between the 26th and the 30th of December. During this period, the majority of these works will involve the switching over of the various equipment to 7-car configuration and then carrying out the final integration and system demonstration testing before formal acceptance. Typically, the kind of work we are talking about here includes the 17 PAC loops at 11 different locations will be converted for 7-car operation. This will include the covering of 6-car and the uncovering of 7-car stop diamonds and chevrons. There are 17 sets of PEDs at 8 locations, and all of these will be modified during the line closure so as to bring into use the 7th set of doors. One sign will be uncovered and another covered at the same site to ensure they are suitable for 7th car operation. Detailed contingency plans have been drawn up in the unlikely event of any slippage in the planned arrangements. Naturally, the 7th car project will be delivered in professionally planned and managed phases. This phase runs from Sunday the 9th of December to Saturday the 24th of December and will see the peak service strategically reduced as the 6-car trains are gradually withdrawn from passenger service for conversion. It should be noted though that all Jubilee Line trains in passenger service during this phase will be in 6-car formation. As always, there will be no service on Christmas Day, but this phase concerns the continuing closure of the Jubilee Line from Boxing Day, the 26th of December, to Friday the 30th of December inclusive. To ensure the travelling public remain well informed, a media campaign will be launched well in advance of the Jubilee Line closure. This will carry details of alternative travel options, reasons for closure, and a whole host of other relevant information. There are a number of planned key milestones that will take place within Phase 2. These are Day 1, 26th of December, Infrastructure Works. Day 2, 27th of December, System Demonstration Testing. Day 3, 28th of December, trial operations and possibly a soft start. Day 4, 29th of December, contingency day 1 and possibly a soft start. Day 5, 30th of December, contingency day 2 and possibly a soft start. Day 6, 31st of December, advertised start date in line with customer information. A soft start means the commencement of a reduced passenger service ahead of the advertised date. If a soft start does occur, the decision may be made to keep all replacement transport services in place until the 31st of December. During the closure period itself, the main work that will be carried out will include ATO data update on each train, PEDs commissioning, signage uncovering, PAC loops commissioning, fleet conversion, part. Saturday the 31st of December 2005 to Saturday the 7th of January 2006 will be the period that will see the peak service on the Jubilee gradually increase to the level required by the Working Timetable 8, scheduled to commence on the 8th of January. From the beginning of the 31st of December, only 7-car trains will be in passenger service on the Jubilee Line. During the ramp down and ramp up periods, the service timetables have been designed to keep the peak service frequency to as high a level as possible, using the trains available. A contact list of those responsible for managing the plan for operational and transitional arrangements to introduce the 7th car will be made available to all who need it. To achieve all the necessary works, many contractor teams will be engaged on the conversion works during the line closure. Operational staff will, therefore, need to support the contractor teams and provide them with assistance, as required, to help ensure the timely introduction of the 7th car. Every contractor team will have a nominated Tube Line's delivery engineer with them. This person will be the station supervisor's point of contact. Only 7th car infrastructure works, or those works pre-approved by the 7th car project team, as will be shown in the station works plan, will be carried out on the Jubilee Line during the line closure period. Should any other contractor require access to the Jubilee Line during this phase, the DLCM must be contacted first and given full details of their requirements. The DLCM will then discuss the issue with the Tube Line's engineer in charge and, if access is authorised, advise the relevant station supervisor. If the closure finishes early and the Jubilee Line recommences service before the 31st of December, the normal procedures can be applied. The Engineers Railway is defined as a simplified protection regime similar to a possession but utilising a suitable and relevant subset of the reference working manual procedures, amended as appropriate and documented in an operational safety plan. The Engineers Railway includes all Jubilee Line track areas, including platforms, up to but not including cross passages, stairs and lifts. It includes Stanmore sidings, but excludes Stratford Market and Neasden depots. It has boundaries with the Met Line between Finchley Road Station and Preston Road Subgap, and at Neasden and Wembley Park stations. There is an additional boundary with the Bakerloo Line at Baker Street. Managed by a dedicated project control office that will be set up within Neasden Service Control Centre at 2200 hours on Christmas night, the Jubilee Line closure will start at 0001 hours on Monday the 26th of December, and it will be from this time that the Engineers Railway protection arrangements will be put in place. The purpose of the Engineers Railway is to ensure the safety and operational security of the entire line, including depots and sidings, so that the various engineers can commence work and make the many varied and necessary changes needed within a specific timescale. However, this does not mean that no trains will run. Test trains will run under signalled moves only. No engineers' trains will run within the Engineers Railway period of the line closure. The Jubilee Line will be protected from trains entering or leaving the Engineers Railway by the securing of points. Details of this and locations are provided in the Line Closure Protection Arrangements document. The special protection measures will be implemented in accordance with Working Manual Procedure AM 104, protecting a possession by securing facing points. However, lamps and detonators will not be placed on the track, but modified marker boards will be deployed as approved in the operational safety plan. During traffic hours, any staff carrying out work alongside the Metropolitan line will be accompanied by a protection master traffic hours in accordance with normal procedures. The engineers' railway arrangements will only be in place for infrastructure works. Traction current will be discharged throughout the Jubilee Line and Stanmore sidings during the engineers' railway period. Neasden and Stratford Market depots will not be part of the engineers' railway arrangements. The Metropolitan and Bakerloo lines will also be isolated during the placing of protection measures. The engineer in charge will instruct the protection manager to start implementing the protection measures for the engineers' railway. No infrastructure works are allowed to start until the full protection measures are safely in place and the protection manager has informed the engineer in charge that this is so. The protection manager will contact the line controller and request permission to start placing protection for the published engineers' railway arrangements. The protection manager will then wait to receive confirmation from the line controller that the traction has been discharged. The protection manager will then book on with the track access controllers to register the engineers' railway. The protection manager will then instruct the protection masters to place the required protection measures. The protection masters will place the protection and confirm to the protection manager when this has been completed. At the required locations, the respective protection masters will book on with the track access controller for the Jubilee, Metropolitan and Bakerloo lines as appropriate to enable them to place their protection measures as published in the EWSA. The protection manager will then record the precise time when this has been carried out at each location. The protection masters will then book off with the relevant track access controllers. As soon as all the protection measures are in place, the protection manager will inform the line controller and the engineer in charge that the engineer's railway is in place. The protection manager must not book off with the track access controller until the engineer's railway arrangements has been lifted. Once all infrastructure works are complete, the engineer's railway will be lifted and all protection removed using the process laid out above. Remember, full details of protection arrangements are held in the Tube Lines Incorporation Protection Arrangements document. The procedures being adopted for this project have been approved and accepted by the London Underground Operational Standards Unit under an operational safety plan that justifies deviations from the Working Reference Manual. Remember, the standard permit to work system and arrangements are in force. As with all maintenance and renewal works, safety comes first. So if you are carrying out any activity in connection with these works, the usual health and safety awareness and procedures apply. These include: report all accidents or incidents. Report all near misses. Report any potentially unsafe practices or equipment in an unsafe condition. Use only properly maintained or certified access and other equipment, including your PPE. Hot works regulations will not be relevant to these works, but the fire regulations and the total no smoking policy will, of course, remain in force. Do not report for duty while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Do not bring any alcohol onto site with you, and do not drink any alcohol in the 8-hour period prior to booking on. If you take prescribed or over-the-counter medication, report the details of these to your site manager, supervisor or person in charge. random testing for drugs and alcohol of all staff and contractors may take place at any time. Advice on medical and alcohol consumption levels is available separately. Ensure you have the correct permit to work for the specific duties that you are officially allocated, and do not deviate from these. In line with this, make sure you are aware of site-specific requirements or hazards, and, before you start work, make sure you are fully aware of the safe access and egress arrangements. This includes booking on and off-site and the associated restrictions, for example food, smoking, etc. If you are safety critical staff, make sure you comply with all the aspects of the safety critical work regulations, including working hours. Make yourself aware of the protection arrangements, movement of trains during closure and at other times, and, where appropriate, traction current isolation. In addition to this, detailed specific information will be communicated or issued to you depending on the type of work you are allocated and where you will be working. This will include work-related health, safety and environmental alerts and advice for safety critical and other staff. Typically, this might include fire and security awareness, entry permits, track depot certification, activity or storage licenses, appropriate quench regulations. Care has been taken to ensure that environmental issues are taken fully into consideration as part of Tube Line's Go Green policy. Noise is the biggest environmental risk for the 7th car project. Staff are required to keep noise down to a minimum, particularly during the night and in residential areas. In addition, waste generated during the work should be properly controlled and good housekeeping maintained at all times. The Jubilee Line is the only underground line in London that has station interchanges with all other underground lines, quite apart from the additional interchanges with the Docklands Light Railway and National Rail companies. Small wonder, therefore, that the Jubilee is such a successful, vital artery for efficient people movement across the capital. So, when the Jubilee Line closure period starts on the 26th of December, London Underground need to make sure that the public inconvenience of there being no Jubilee Line for a few days is mitigated as far as reasonably practicable. London Underground will achieve this by initiating a carefully drawn up operational plan of alternative transport arrangements that will act as best possible substitute for customers while the line closure takes place. Here is a summary of alternative transport provision for our customers for the Jubilee Line 5-day closure from the 26th to the 30th of December 2005. A rail replacement bus service will operate at either end of the line to include all stations between Stanmore and Finchley Road, between North Greenwich to Charlton 27th of December onwards, and Mile End to Canary Wharf the 28th of December onwards. The following changes will occur on other underground lines. The Metropolitan line services will stop at Willesden Green on all days. Waterloo and City Line will operate all days, and a hot spare will be ready on the Bakerloo line during the morning peak from the 28th of December onwards. Other DLR, London buses and overground rail services have been enhanced to try and mitigate passenger dissatisfaction throughout the line closure period. These additional services will remain in place until the 30th of December, even if an early soft start is achieved. A contact list of those responsible for managing the plan for operational and transitional arrangements to introduce the 7th car will be made available to all who need it. If you have any questions about the 7th car project and the arrangements for introducing it, please ask your coordinator. Each new or modified asset will undergo a thorough regime of inspection and testing prior to and during commissioning. This testing will be made up of distinct stages, each of which will be covered by specific testing plans that are set out in detail in the commissioning and handover plan. Throughout the line closure, London Underground's Engineering Directorate representatives will be observing the infrastructure works, rolling stock incorporation and overall management controls to provide assurance that all technical aspects of these works are being, and have been, delivered in accordance with the approved plans. Another key stage of the closure phase will then be the system demonstration testing. The reason for system demonstration testing is to allow tube lines to prove to London Underground that, following the infrastructure modifications, the line and its infrastructure is suitable for 7-car trains. By this time, testing will already have taken place during engineering hours, including a 14-car push-out, a 7-car train pushing another 7-car train. Tube lines will then hand the operation of the Jubilee Line back to London Underground. When the London Underground Engineering Directorate representative confirms that all the specified infrastructure and other works are complete and fully tested to their satisfaction, London Underground Operations will then start a planned period of comprehensive trial operations. It is expected that these trial operations will last for around 4 hours, but it may be decided to reduce or increase this period and the number of different tests carried out, depending on the results of the infrastructure works and system demonstration testing. Each station will have an observer posted to it during the shadow running testing to check the tests and report any problems to the trial operations manager. Those involved in any aspect of the testing will be fully briefed. A detailed list of specific tests, including times, locations, actions and so on, will be made available to those who need it. Only when London Underground's Engineering Directorate are completely satisfied that everything is in order and meets their requirements will they then give the formal go-ahead to London Underground's Chief Operating Officer, who, in turn, will instruct the commencement of services with 7 cars at his discretion. All required movement of materials and storage licences will be applied for and completed prior to the commencement of the works. All such materials will be delivered and stored safely and appropriately before the planned closure and removed completely as soon as practicable afterwards. Further information will be communicated through staff briefings. Thank you for watching.